Out of my house, old man. You don't belong here anymore. My own daughter-in-law changed the locks while I was at the doctor. When I came home, she stood in the doorway with my suitcase and a brown paper bag. She shoved the bag into my chest and said, "Here's what's left of you in this house. Don't come back." I stood on my own front porch, 71 years old, holding a crumpled bag like a homeless man. But when I sat down on that curb and opened it, I found a burner phone, a flash drive, and a handwritten note from my grandson. The note said, "Grandpa, don't trust anyone. Drive to Savannah, room 12 at the Marsh Inn. I'll explain everything." The person waiting for me in that motel room changed my life forever. But before I tell you who it was, let me ask you something. Have you ever been thrown away by the people you sacrificed everything for? Drop a yes or no in the comments, because what I'm about to tell you will hit different depending on your answer. My name is Walter Hollins. I'm 71 years old, a retired civil engineer from Charleston, South Carolina. For 38 years, I designed bridges for the state. Good ones. The kind that hold up through hurricanes and don't make the evening news because they just work. My wife, Dolores, passed 6 years ago from pancreatic cancer. I spent every last sick day, every vacation hour, and about $180,000 of our savings on treatments that bought us 8 more months. I'd do it again without thinking twice. After Dolores died, I rattled around our house alone. It's a craftsman-style place in Mount Pleasant right off Coleman Boulevard. 4 bedrooms, wrap-around porch, live oaks in the yard. I built the back deck myself the summer we moved in, 1989. Dolores picked the house because of the light in the kitchen. She said it made everything feel like Sunday morning. The place appraised at $1.9 million last year. Charleston real estate went crazy, and our quiet neighborhood became one of the most desirable zip codes in the Lowcountry. My son Kevin married a woman named Sheila Dawson 4 years ago. Sheila was a real estate agent with perfect nails and the smile that never quite reached her eyes. Kevin met her at a networking event. She was 11 years younger, ambitious, always talking about building wealth and leveraging assets. I didn't dislike her, but I noticed things. The way she'd glance around the house, not admiring it, but appraising it. The way she asked questions about the deed, the property taxes, the insurance. She wasn't making conversation. She was taking inventory. They moved in 2 years ago. Kevin had lost his job at a marketing firm, and Sheila said they needed to consolidate. I said yes, because Kevin was my only child, and I missed having people in the house. The sound of footsteps upstairs, dishes in the sink, another voice calling good morning. I thought it would feel like family again. It didn't. Not for long. Sheila started small. She rearranged the living room without asking, then the kitchen. Then she moved Dolores's china into the garage. "It's cluttered, Walter. We need space." I brought the china back inside. She moved it again while I was at church. Then came the money conversations. Kevin sat across from me at dinner one Tuesday in late August, and I could tell he'd been coached. His words were too careful, too rehearsed. "Dad, Sheila and I have been thinking. You're 71. What happens if something happens to you? We should add our names to the deed, just for protection." I set down my fork. Protection for who? For the family. He wouldn't meet my eyes. That was the tell. Kevin always looked away when he was lying. He did it as a kid, stealing cookies, and he was doing it now, stealing something much bigger. "The house is in my name, Kevin. It stays in my name." Sheila leaned forward. "Walter, be reasonable. If you have a stroke or a fall, the house goes into probate. It could take years. We're trying to help you. I appreciate the concern, but I'm not signing anything." Sheila's jaw tightened. She looked at Kevin. Kevin looked at his plate. That was the end of dinner. But it was only the beginning of what came next. Over the following weeks, Sheila escalated. She started telling neighbors I was confused. She told my doctor I'd been forgetting things, wandering at night. None of it was true. I walked 3 miles every morning, did the crossword in ink, and managed my own finances. But Sheila was building a narrative, brick by brick. She wanted people to believe I was losing my mind. Then she brought in her brother Dale. Dale Dawson was an attorney. Family law. He showed up one Saturday morning with a folder of papers, guardianship petition. He explained it calmly, like he was helping. "Walter, this isn't about taking anything from you. It's about making sure you're cared for. Kevin would become your legal guardian. He'd manage your finances, your medical decisions, your property. It's standard for someone your age." I stared at him. "I'm 71, not 91. My mind is fine. My body is fine. Get that folder off my table." Dale smiled. "We're just trying to protect you, Walter." "From what?" "From what?" "From yourself." Kevin said nothing. He sat in the corner of the living room, staring at his hands. My son, the boy I taught to ride a bike on this very street, wouldn't even defend me. That was a Thursday. By Monday, everything fell apart. I came home from my regular checkup at MUSC. The front door had a new deadbolt. My key didn't work. I knocked. Sheila opened the door halfway, blocking the entrance with her body. "Walter, we've discussed this. Kevin and I think it's best if you find other arrangements. This is my house. It's a family home, and the family has decided. You're not well, Walter. We all see it. I'm perfectly well. Open this door." She held out my suitcase with one hand and a crumpled brown paper bag with the other. "Your clothes are in the suitcase. Your personal effects are in the bag. I've already spoken with Dale about the guardianship filing. We're moving forward whether you cooperate or not." "Where's Kevin?" "Kevin agrees with me." "Let me hear him say it." She hesitated. Then Kevin appeared behind her, pale, sweating. He said 4 words. "Dad, please just go." The door closed. The deadbolt turned. I stood on the porch of the house I'd owned for 35 years, holding a suitcase and a paper bag, and I felt something I hadn't felt since Dolores died. Complete, shattering loneliness. I sat on the curb for maybe 20 minutes. My hands were shaking, not from cold. October in Charleston is still warm. They were shaking from shock, from betrayal, from the realization that my own son had chosen her over me. Then I opened the bag. I expected old photos, maybe my watch, some junk from my nightstand. Instead, I found 3 things. A prepaid cell phone, still in the packaging. A USB flash drive with a yellow sticky note that said, "Open first," and the handwritten letter on notebook paper. I recognized the handwriting immediately. It was Marcus's, my grandson, Kevin's son from his first marriage. Marcus was 23, a computer science graduate working in Atlanta. He visited me twice a year, always without Sheila knowing. He called me every Sunday. He was the only person in my family who still treated me like a human being. The letter said, "Grandpa, if you're reading this, it means Sheila locked you out. I've been expecting this for months. I'm sorry I couldn't stop it. I'm sorry I couldn't warn you sooner. But I need you to trust me and do exactly what I say. Don't call Dad. Don't call the police. Don't go back to the house. Drive to Savannah. The Marsh Inn on East Bay Street, room 12. I already paid for a week. The key is in the phone box. I'll be there tomorrow morning. The flash drive has everything you need to understand what's really happening. But don't open it until we're together. I'll explain. I love you, Grandpa. This isn't over. It's just beginning. Marcus." I read the letter 3 times. Then I popped open the phone box, found the motel key taped inside, put everything back in the bag, and got in my truck. The truck was parked on the street. Sheila hadn't thought to take my keys. That was her first mistake. I drove to Savannah. 2 hours on I-95 South, not thinking, just driving. I checked into the Marsh Inn at 9 p.m. Small place, Clean, quiet, the kind of motel where people mind their own business. I sat on the bed and stared at the flash drive all night. I didn't sleep. Marcus arrived at 7 the next morning. He knocked twice, paused, knocked 3 times, our old signal from when he was a kid sneaking downstairs for ice cream. I opened the door and my grandson stood there with a backpack, a laptop, and dark circles under his eyes. He hugged me. Hard. Neither of us said anything for a long time. Then he sat down, opened his laptop, and plugged in the flash drive. "Grandpa, I need to show you something, and you're going to be angry. But I need you to stay calm because we have work to do." What Marcus showed me over the next 2 hours made my blood run cold. 6 months ago, Marcus had come to Charleston for Thanksgiving. He noticed things: Sheila's behavior, Kevin's silence, the missing china, the whispered phone calls. Something felt wrong, so he did what a 23-year-old computer science graduate does. He investigated. He cloned Sheila's phone while she was showering. It took 90 seconds. He set up remote access to her email. He installed a tiny camera in the living room smoke detector during a bathroom break. He wasn't proud of the methods, he told me, but he knew something was coming, and he needed proof. What he found was staggering. Sheila and Dale had been planning this for over a year. The guardianship petition wasn't about protecting me. It was about gaining legal control of my $1.9 million house, my retirement accounts worth $340,000, and Dolores's life insurance payout of $200,000 that I'd never touched. Total target, roughly $2.4 million. Their plan had 3 phases. Phase 1, isolate Walter. Move in, control the environment, cut off outside relationships, tell neighbors and doctors he's declining. Phase 2, establish guardianship, file the petition, use fabricated medical opinions, have Dale's colleague, a psychiatrist named Dr. Fenton, provide a diagnosis of early-stage dementia. The diagnosis was fake. Dr. Fenton owed Dale a favor from a malpractice cover-up 3 years ago. Phase 3, liquidate. Once Kevin was guardian, Sheila and Dale would sell the house, drain the accounts, and move the money offshore. Kevin would get a small cut. Sheila and Dale would split the rest. Then Sheila would divorce Kevin and disappear. Marcus played me the recordings. Sheila's voice clear as a bell, talking to Dale on the phone. "The old man won't sign voluntarily. We file the guardianship next week." Fenton already wrote the evaluation. "Once Kevin's guardian, we sell the house, cash out the retirement, and wire everything to the Cayman account. 6 months, Dale. 6 months and we're done." Dale's response chilled me. "What about Kevin? He's getting nervous." Sheila laughed. "Kevin does what I tell him. He's weak. That's why I married him. Once the money's moved, I file for divorce. He gets nothing. He signed the prenup, remember? And if the old man fights it, he won't. He's 71 and alone. Who's going to believe him? His own son won't even look him in the eye." I sat in that motel room and felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Not sadness, not self-pity. Rage. Cold, focused, patient rage. The kind that doesn't shout. The kind that doesn't shout. The kind that plans. Marcus closed the laptop. "Grandpa, I've been building this file for 5 months. I have recordings, emails, financial documents, the fake psychiatric evaluation, wire transfer records, even texts between Sheila and Dr. Fenton coordinating the diagnosis. But here's the problem. If we go to the police now, Dale will lawyer up immediately. Sheila will destroy evidence. They'll claim the recordings were obtained illegally. A good attorney could get everything thrown out. So what do? We let them commit the crime. Right now they've conspired, but conspiracy is hard to prove in court, especially with recordings they'll challenge. We need them to actually file the forged documents, actually sell the house, actually move the money. Then we catch them with their hands in the cookie jar." I looked at my grandson. This kid who used to fall asleep in my lap during football games was now talking like a battlefield strategist. "How long?" 6 to 8 weeks. I've already contacted someone who can help. A forensic accountant named Diana Reeves. She used to work for the SEC, and I have a connection at the FBI field office in Charleston. An agent named Torres who's been investigating Dale Dawson for a separate fraud case involving elderly clients. We're not the first people Dale has done this to, Grandpa. We're just the first ones who caught him before it was too late. So I stay dead. Marcus almost smiled. You stay invisible. No credit cards, no phone calls to anyone, no social media. As far as Charleston knows, Walter Hollins wandered off confused. Exactly what Sheila wants people to believe. The next 6 weeks were the hardest and most purposeful of my life. I lived in that Savannah motel room like a monk. Marcus visited every weekend. Diana Reeves tracked every dollar. Agent Torres built his federal case quietly, using our evidence to supplement his own investigation into Dale's pattern of elder fraud across 3 states. And back in Charleston, Sheila and Dale walked right into the trap. Week 1. Sheila filed the guardianship petition. Kevin signed as the proposed guardian. Dr. Fenton submitted his fraudulent evaluation diagnosing me with moderate cognitive decline and early-stage dementia. The court accepted the filing. Week 2. Dale fast-tracked the hearing. Without me present to contest it, the judge granted temporary guardianship to Kevin. Sheila celebrated by redecorating my bedroom. Marcus's hidden camera caught her raising a glass of champagne and saying to Kevin, Phase 2 complete. Week 3. A real estate agent, Sheila's colleague from her firm, listed the house. Asking price, $2.1 million. Sheila staged it beautifully. She even removed Dolores's garden bench from the backyard, the one I'd carved our initials into 20 years ago. Marcus told me about it on the phone. I gripped the edge of the motel desk until my knuckles turned white. Week 4. An offer came in. $1.95 million. Cash buyer. Kevin signed the sale documents as my legal guardian. Dale notarized them. The closing was scheduled for week 6. Week 5. Wire transfers began. Diana traced $300,000 to an account in Grand Cayman, registered to a shell company Dale had set up. Another $200,000 went to pay off Sheila's credit card debt and Dale's personal loans. The remaining proceeds were held in an escrow account that Dale controlled. Week 6. The house sale closed. My house, the house where Dolores picked the kitchen for its light, the house where I built the deck, the house where Marcus took his first steps, sold to a stranger. Kevin signed the final papers. Dale witnessed them. The money moved. And that's when Agent Torres called me. Mr. Money moved. And that's when Agent Torres called me. Hollins, we have everything we need. Fraud, forgery, elder abuse, wire fraud, conspiracy. The psychiatric evaluation alone is a federal crime. Dr. Fenton is already cooperating. Are you ready? I've been ready for 6 weeks. Then let's bring you home. Marcus and I drove back to Charleston on a Wednesday morning. Agent Torres had coordinated with the county prosecutor and a federal judge. Warrants were signed. Teams were assembled. But Marcus had one more idea. Grandpa, Dale is hosting a fundraiser Friday night, a charity gala at the Charleston Harbor Club. 200 guests, business leaders, lawyers, judges, local politicians. Sheila and Kevin will both be there. Dale is giving the keynote speech about protecting our community's most vulnerable citizens. I almost laughed. Elder fraud attorney gives speech about protecting elders. Exactly, Torres agreed to make the arrest there. Public, witnessed, no room to spin it. I spent Thursday preparing. Marcus and I recorded a video presentation. Every document, every recording, every wire transfer, every email. We organized it chronologically, methodically, the way I used to organize engineering specs. Each crime labeled, each piece of evidence cited. Diana Reeves verified every financial claim. Agent Torres reviewed it for legal accuracy. Friday evening, 6:30 p.m., the Charleston Harbor Club was lit up like a wedding. I sat in a car across the street and watched guests arrive. Men in tuxedos, women in gowns. Dale Dawson shaking hands at the entrance like a governor. Sheila on Kevin's arm, radiant, playing the loving wife. Kevin looked uncomfortable. He always looked uncomfortable now. Agent Torres had 6 agents inside, dressed as guests. 2 more at each exit. Marcus was in the AB booth with the club's tech manager, who'd been briefed and was fully cooperative. At 7:15, Dale took the stage. I watched through a live feed on Marcus's laptop. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for supporting the Low Country Elder Protection Fund. Tonight, we celebrate our commitment to safeguarding those who built our community. The irony was so thick you could choke on it. Dale continued for about 4 minutes. Community values, legal advocacy, the importance of family. Then he said, "Now, I'd like to share a brief video about the families we've helped this year." He clicked his remote. The screen went dark. Then my face appeared. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Walter Hollins. I'm 71 years old, and the man standing on that stage just stole everything I own. The room went silent. Dale froze. His smile dissolved like sugar in rain. My recorded voice continued as documents filled the screen. 6 weeks ago, Dale Dawson and my daughter-in-law, Sheila Dawson, filed a fraudulent guardianship petition using a fabricated psychiatric evaluation. They sold my home without my knowledge or consent. They wired the proceeds to offshore accounts, and they did it while telling my son I was too confused to take care of myself. The audio recordings played. Sheila's voice filled the ballroom. The old man won't sign voluntarily. Once Kevin's guardian, we sell the house, cash out the retirement, and wire everything to the Cayman account. Gasps echoed through the room. People turned to look at Sheila. She stood frozen, champagne glass in hand, face white. Dale grabbed the podium microphone. This is a fabrication. This is a disgruntled family member trying to... The microphone went dead. Marcus had killed it from the booth. The video continued. Bank records scrolled across the screen. The fake psychiatric evaluation appeared beside Dr. Fenton's signed confession. Wire transfer receipts showed money flowing to Grand Cayman. The forged guardianship documents appeared next to Dale's notary stamp. My voice narrated calmly. Dale Dawson has done this before. In 2022, he defrauded an 84-year-old widow in Beaufort. In 2023, he targeted a retired veteran in Hilton Head. I'm his 3rd victim, but I'm his last. Then the screen showed the final message. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a recording. I'm right outside. The ballroom doors opened. I walked in wearing my best suit, the one Dolores bought me for our 40th anniversary. The crowd parted. Some people stood. A few applauded. Most just stared in disbelief. I walked straight to the stage. Dale backed away from the podium. His face was gray. Sweat stained his collar. He looked at the exits. FBI agents blocked everyone. I stepped up to the podium and looked out at 200 faces. My name is Walter Hollins. I built bridges for 38 years. Bridges that hold. Bridges that don't collapse when the storm comes. 6 weeks ago, my daughter-in-law threw me out of my own home. She told my neighbors I was senile. She had a corrupt doctor say I was losing my mind. She sold the house I shared with my late wife. She and this man standing behind me stole $2.4 million, and my own son let it happen. I paused. The room was completely silent. They thought I was old. They thought I was finished. They thought no one would believe a 71-year-old man over a lawyer and a real estate agent. They were wrong. Agent Torres stepped forward. Dale Dawson, Sheila Dawson, you are under arrest. Fraud, wire fraud, elder abuse, conspiracy, and forgery. Handcuffs clicked. Dale tried to speak. I want my attorney. Torres replied evenly. You are an attorney. You should have known better. Sheila dropped her champagne glass. It shattered on the marble floor. She looked at Kevin. Kevin looked at me. For the first time in months, my son looked me in the eyes. "Dad," he said, his voice cracked. "Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't know what they were." "You knew enough, Kevin. You signed every paper they put in front of you. You let them throw me out. You watched." He crumbled. Right there in the ballroom, in his rented tuxedo, my 43-year-old son broke down crying. I wanted to feel satisfaction. I didn't. I felt heartbreak, because despite everything, he was still my boy. Marcus came down from the AV booth and stood beside me. I put my arm around him. "This young man saved my life," I told the room. "My grandson, 23 years old. He saw what was happening when no one else did, or when no one else wanted to." Dale and Sheila were led out in handcuffs. Cameras from 3 local news stations caught every second. The story ran that night on every Charleston station and hit national news by morning. Justice was thorough. Dale Dawson was convicted of 12 counts, including wire fraud, elder abuse, conspiracy, and forgery. He received 22 years in federal prison. The investigation also uncovered his previous victims in Beaufort and Hilton Head, adding additional charges. His law license was permanently revoked. Sheila received 14 years for fraud, conspiracy, and elder abuse. Dr. Cover. Fenton lost his medical license and received 5 years for filing a fraudulent psychiatric evaluation. The house sale was reversed by court order. The buyer, who had no knowledge of the fraud, was refunded in full from Dale's seized assets. The deed was restored to my name. I got my house back. Kevin was not charged. Agent Torres determined he'd been manipulated and had no direct knowledge of the offshore accounts or Dale's prior victims. But his cooperation came late, and trust, once broken that completely, doesn't just mend. We're working on it. Slowly. He started therapy. He calls me every week now. We're not where we were. We might never be. But we're trying. Marcus moved back to Charleston. He'd been offered a remote position with his company in Atlanta and took it so he could be closer to me. He lives in the apartment above the garage. We have breakfast together most mornings. He's teaching me about computers. I'm teaching him about carpentry. Fair trade. I did something with the house I never expected. I kept it, but I didn't keep it the same. I renovated the back half and turned it into a community space. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I teach a class called Standing Ground. It's for people over 55 who've experienced financial abuse, manipulation, or family fraud. We cover estate planning, recognizing coercion tactics, protecting your assets, and knowing when to ask for help. Diana Reeves volunteers as our financial literacy instructor. Agent Torres comes once a month to talk about reporting elder abuse. Marcus built us a website. Our first class had 9 students. 6 months later, we have 42 and a waiting list. I also partnered with the Low Country Legal Aid Society to create the Dolores Hollins Fund. It provides free legal representation to elderly residents facing guardianship abuse. Dolores would have loved that. She always said the law should protect people, not prey on them. A woman in my Tuesday class, Margaret, 74 years old, a retired school principal, asked me once, "Walter, how did you not give up? How did you sit in that motel room for 6 weeks and not just walk into the ocean?" I thought about it. "Margaret, I'll tell you what kept me going. It wasn't anger. Anger burns out. It was purpose. My grandson believed in me. He didn't see an old man. He saw someone worth fighting for. And when someone sees you that way, you can't quit. You owe it to them. You owe it to yourself. People ask me all the time at workshops, at church, even at the hardware store, 'Walter, what's the lesson? What's the takeaway?' I always say the same thing. They confused my kindness with weakness. They confused my patience with ignorance. They confused my age with irrelevance. That was their mistake. Age doesn't make you less. It makes you more experienced, more patient, more strategic, more dangerous to people who underestimate you." That paper bag Sheila shoved into my chest. People hear this story and think it was an insult. It wasn't. It was a lifeline. Marcus had planted it there, right where he knew I'd find it. He knew Sheila would throw me out. He just made sure that when she did, I wouldn't leave empty-handed. I'm 72 now. I teach 3 days a week. I have breakfast with my grandson every morning and dinner with my son most Sundays. I sleep in the house I've owned for 35 years, in the bedroom where the morning light comes through the window just the way Dolores loved, and I'm at peace. That paper bag changed everything, not because of what was inside it, but because of what it proved. It proved that someone saw me, that someone was paying attention. You seal the pearl in cum. And if you're listening to this and you feel invisible, if someone is making you doubt your own mind, if the people who should protect you are the ones taking everything, hear me clearly. You are not too old. You are not too weak. You are not too confused. You are exactly who you've always been, except now you have something they didn't count on. You have experience. You have patience. And if you're lucky like me, you have someone in your corner who refuses to let you fall. Dale Dawson had a law degree and a plan. I had a grandson with a laptop and a paper bag. Guess who won? Thank you for watching this video. I'd love to hear your story in the comments. Every voice matters. Don't forget to subscribe to Voices of Uncle Walter and share this with someone who needs to hear it today.